A lot of people are stuck in chaos because they don't create systems into their daily workflow. And in this video, I will walk you through structured system for staying in flow, reducing overwhelm, and getting meaningful work done daily without relying on your willpower, motivation, and create clarity out of chaos. And also, as I mentioned before, or maybe you grasp out of it, I had a company in the past. And let me tell you, we had a lot of problems. It was extremely unorganized. We had a lot of money we lost. Actually, we earned 300,000 and we also lost 300,000 in some ways in the first year of doing business. And if I knew all of the stuff before, I think I would have been a way better entrepreneur and also would help so much more people. And I think now in the last 7 months, I gained much more clarity with this system, and also it did not only help me in terms of business, also in my personal life. And here's the exact system. So the system is contributed out of two separate things. I'm first of all out of Kortex and Notion. So Notion, this is the entire Notion system, as you can see here, for creating content and monetizing your mind, and Kortex for thinking better, more effectively, and also the better you think, the less you need to work. How to reduce your work hours to 4? Actually, it is quite simple. The first 1 or 2 hours, in my perspective, should be implemented into writing and thinking. Like these are the first 2 hours of the day, or like the first 2 work hours. Because when you start writing, everything connects from each other. I have a hand injury, so I need to do this. And everything connects to each other. And once you understand the purpose of reading, writing, and thinking and interconnect them together, which is easier with the second brain, as you can see here, and also how this entire system works with the chaos to clarity system, which I will come in a few minutes. Your way of thinking, like multidimensional intelligence, how I'm calling it, will change tremendously. So focus on this. So write for 1 or 2 hours every single morning, and then you switch into the Notion business and then do all of the stuff there. And then after 4 hours, you are done for the day. So maximum outcome. So in the second brain, I go into the specific system. And the best system I use is the mastery notes and writing newsletters. So the mastery notes, as you can see here, I'm not going into the entire system because there's a lot of other videos in the past I've created to understand the system. So I'm really only going to the business section and how to really like work 4 hours a day. So for example, every single morning after my coffee, after 90 minutes and my cold shower and whatever I'm doing for like this biohacking stuff will be started with writing. And this is mostly a combination between newsletter and mastery notes, and how then call it core notes. And then is the producer, the founder, the creator of this productivity app. Every single morning, I start writing. Let's say I'm writing my newsletter, like this one here, work like the new 1%, 4 hours of deep work, the rest is life. And then I create this newsletter structure, which I call the interconnected structure. And then inside there, you can go into the mastery notes, which will be opening up here. And then you can read the stuff, and everything is explained into problem, a goal, an example, a benefit, and a process. The process sometimes is developed, or sometimes it doesn't really need a process. And then I implement this into my newsletter writing. And this is also how I structure my newsletter writing in a connected way. So for example, I always have a headline, the lie we all have been told. We are mirroring God's creation, for example. Seek truth, not status, money, or looks. The purpose of a diet, the new 1% of productivity. And then I have specific things I need to do. Have I done 2 call to actions in a newsletter? Then I have a brain dump. This is my process of writing every single morning for 1 or 2 hours. And while I'm writing, sometimes I switch between the core notes to understand more deeply my method I want to explain, or I just continue writing the newsletter in this example for it. So that's the newsletter, then I do connections to the idea. So let's say we open this one on the right side. Every idea here will be explained in here. So we are mirroring God's creation is the first idea. So we're like, okay, we are driven to stories, fantasies, and worlds, a sub-creation of mirroring God's creation. Then we go down and everything is kind of like, makes sense. So when I want to create a video, if I want to, out of this newsletter, I know, okay, these methods I use for this particular way of writing. And this only needs 1 or 2 hours. And the way of your thinking inside gets really, really deep. And also the more deep you are getting into the world, the more your business makes sense, the more the world makes sense, the more the universe connects with you. Because when you understand the universe, understand how everything resonated, you will understand business, life, your mind, your productivity so much more easily. Because it's kind of like, think about a spider who's creating its web. It starts in the middle, or like everything connects in the middle, first of all, because you need to find an anchor in your life. And from the anchor in the middle, like your purpose, for example, you can start building the web. And when you do this, your life will exponentially grow, because you just need to build this web bigger and bigger. And it's an infinite goal. So when you understand your mind, you master your mind with a second brain, everything afterwards becomes easier. Also, your flow state in the morning is way easier, because you start in the morning with writing, and the writing is the simplest way to enter a flow state. Trust me on this. It might take 5 to 10 minutes just brain dumping or writing in the beginning, but after the 5 to 10 minutes with some coffee maybe, you get into a really deep flow state. The longer you stay in this flow, the more productive you are. Because based on flow research collection, we have an increase of 500% when we're in flow state. But yeah, this video is not about flow. And after this Kortex system of writing with mastery notes and newsletters, you build your foundation of your business. You create a Marvel cinematic universe. You are Stan Lee, and you are creating different planets in the entire universe. Different planets with different stories, which combine into the whole universe, into your whole Marvel cinematic universe. This is your personal brand. This is your brand in general. And this is like all the big people or companies are doing, as well as Apple with their ecosystem. And just use 1 or 2 hours every single morning to develop this particular way. And afterwards, you want to develop this into content. I do mostly just 2 different ways of content. It is newsletter, newsletter, which is the foundation in Kortex, then YouTube videos and thread posts. And a lot of the stuff is also helped with AI to reduce my work hours, because otherwise maintaining this alone would be way too difficult. And that's the reason also I kind of like addicted to this business, because it's so much fun. I just need 4 hours of work every single day. The rest will be helped by AI, and I save a lot of money and don't waste another 300,000 with a company. So how the Notion system works. So Notion system is, sorry, I need to be a bit careful with my arm so that the injury is not coming back. We have the quick capture. So Notion is a particular way to execute projects, execute YouTube project, execute task project, execute every particular project from the information, from the knowledge, from the thinking into the execution. So for example, these videos are created. This one was the first video I created today. This one's the second video, and this is the third video which I'm currently producing. And yeah, you can also buy this template if you want, or you can recreate it. There's a video on the link on the corner where I'm going into more detail of this Notion template. And everything is kind of like, if you read a lot of my stuff, you understand how every system is connected to each other. And yeah, the template costs 50 euros. I think it's valuable for most people, and I think 50 euros is fine for this, but yeah, I hope it's valuable if you purchase this or consider it. And yeah, you have a daily tracker, for example. The daily tracker in this particular way is just for doing my daily stuff. Like, did I have a good flow? It's in German. What time did I wake up? I always wake up between 5 and 6. And some days I wake up after 6 if I had a really bad sleep. Then I have the task system, which is contributed out of 2 different things. The flowing project task system, which is I finish a task, and if I don't finish it, I put it on the next day. Kind of like a good way of procrastination, because we don't need to finish every single day, every single task, because most of them are anyways useless. Then we have the 90-day challenges, which is the monthly goals and projects I want to accomplish. So I know what weekly and daily tasks contribute to the bigger projects. The 90-day challenge also contributing after the 7-day Chaos to Clarity challenge. So when you finish the 7 days Chaos to Clarity challenge, you have two choices. You either join the free 90-day challenge to start a business if you don't want to spend any money, and if you want to spend money and do it in a fast way, I have a 30-day Chaos to Clarity, which actually explains everything what I'm doing or have done in the last 5 years. Also how to manage ADHD, and also how to use ADHD to start and build your business. And yeah, the last section in this one is the content I'm producing. So this is everything I'm thinking to produce, which might be produced, etc. And one thing which might be interesting for you as well, how I contribute my YouTube videos, they're pretty simple. The system is pretty simple. So I have, it's kind of like a 4 or 5 stages. I have a hook, which is always kind of like similar. Then I have authority, which is always like explaining what I've done in my past to understand who this guy actually is. And then third of all, there's always like a call to action I want to explain, mostly joining the challenge. And then we have the main content, which will be here, and mostly I just talk into the camera and just show something on the screen. And the last one is, yeah, making another call to action. It's like, hey, join the 7-day Chaos to Clarity challenge, join the cohort, which is paid, whatever you want to do. And yeah, this is, for example, to finish this up, this is the Second Brain business template you will receive. And then this is still the empty version of it. And yeah, and my, for example, is a bit more enhanced because this is the stuff which will come up in the next update when my hand is a bit better and I can work again a bit more. But yeah, that's it. So this is how I work, only 4 hours every single day. And then, for example, the last 2 hours of the 4 hours will be spent in Notion and creating YouTube videos. And it is 11:11 right now in the morning, and at 12 I'm mostly done with the 4 hours of work. And then I either work more, enjoy life, train, whatever I want to do in a day, depends. So hope you like this video. See you guys in my next video. Bye.